you're live, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this District Planning Committee meeting held on Wednesday, the 24th of April 2024. My name is Councillor Kevin Lagan. I am the current chairman of this committee. Members, by streaming this meeting live as well as being recorded, and by being present in the meeting, you're giving your consent to being recorded. During each item, please put your hand up to indicate if you wish to speak. I'll then invite you at the appropriate time. Please note that the YouTube live stream and sound recording is dependent on the correct use of microphones. Therefore, can I ask you, when you've invited to speak, you remember to turn on your microphone and turn it off when you're finished. Please reference a page or a paragraph number when referring to agenda papers, and keep your contributions as clear and concise as possible. Agenda item 2, apologies for absence. Tara, may I have apologies for absence, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Apologies have received from Councillor Burwood, Councillor Doran, Councillor Jennings, Councillor Label, Councillor Morley, Councillor Shaughnessy, Councillor Siddle, Councillor Siddle-Norman and Councillor Stevens. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Lots of apologies. Councillor White?
Thank you, Chairman. I've also got apologies from Councillor Whiffin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Did you get that, Tara? Councillor Whiffin?
Yes, Chairman, I've got that. Thank you.
That's lovely, thank you. Agenda item 3, it's the minutes of the last meeting, which is found on your agenda packs on pages 7 to 14. And this is to confirm the meeting of the District Planning Committee held on the 12th of March 2024. Copies enclosed. It is recommended that the minutes are approved as a true and accurate record. I so move. To have a seconder, please. Councillor Morgan, second. Members, any comments or agree by assent? Agreed. Thank you very much indeed. Agenda item 4, which is declarations of interest. To disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests and non-registrable interests relating to items of business on the agenda, having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B of the Code of Conduct for members. And members are just reminded that you're also required to disclose any such interest as soon as you become aware, should the need arise throughout the duration of the meeting. Any declarations, please? Councillor Neal.
Thank you, Chairman. I've got a non-registrable interest, obviously, in item number 5, as I know the applicant.
Great, thank you very much indeed. Any other member, please? No, thank you very much indeed. We now move to agenda item 5, which is agenda item 5, reference 23/00857/FULM. This is land at Great Hayes Business Park, Lower Burnham Road, Stow Maries, and it's found on pages 15 to 36. Of your agenda packs. We've got Mr. Marsh here, who's going to present the report remotely, and we've got Derek Lawrence in the chamber, as you can see. We've also got one public participation, Mr. Simon Hollington, who will be invited to speak after the presentation. Thank you. Mr. Marsh.
Can everybody hear me okay?
You're not as loud as we'd like, to be honest.
Maybe you turn. I can't really do much this end. Is it possible to turn the speaker up a bit at your end?
Ben? Yeah, just lean forward, Tim, and yeah, as Wendy says, be like Wendy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you. You a compliment.
Thank you, Chairman. You can see I'll need to share the screen, obviously. Hopefully that's working okay.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you. Yeah, much better.
Yeah. So yes, this is application for the development of employment use on a site or part of the site which is allocated in the local plan for mixed use employment. It's located, as you'll see from the aerial photograph here, approximately 2 kilometres to the east of Southwood and Ferrers and 1 kilometre to the south of Stow Maries. I've included this slide here, which is the extract from the local plan showing the extent of the site that's allocated in the local plan. And the application includes approximately half of that site, which includes existing buildings, most of which are being retained. It does also include a couple of semi-detached houses, which are proposed to be demolished, as explained in the report, and it also includes land to the south here for sustainable drainage. So this is the proposed site plan, location plan. It's a bit of an odd shape, but it's because it's including the access roads. This is where most of the new buildings will be going, on the north corner here, with those are the existing cottages to be demolished. And then the proposed locations for the buildings are, there's a large building going in here, 2 buildings there with the access road, and a warehouse building on the eastern side, as you'll see from the site location plan, the proposed site plan in a moment. Just for completeness, this is the elevations and floor plans for the existing cottages to be demolished that I mentioned earlier. So this is the proposed site plan for the new employment development, of which a total of 3,000 or 2,995 square metres in the form of 5 separate buildings. This building here on the corner, which sort of wraps its way around the corner off Lower Burnham Road, is for predominantly offices. This building here is for industrial B8 warehouse use. The building perpendicular to the road is another office building, a large warehouse building on to the rear of the site, and then a proposed veterinary practice to the southern area here, together with car parking. The site also includes within the blue land, the remainder of the allocation. As explained in the report, that's effectively would form a second phase to the development. So we've got a series of illustrations here of firstly the street scene as would appear looking from Lower Burnham Road facing eastward, so there's the road frontage. So that's the building I pointed out that wraps its way around the corner, the slightly larger industrial building, and then the office building, the building that's been retained, the existing building, and then you'll see in some photographs a bit later, that's the older building that's on the southern part of the site. This is the proposed veterinary clinic, which is located, as I explained, on this southern part of the site here. There is an existing veterinary practice which this will provide a new premises for. The existing practice is located in the corner of that existing building here, and is proposed, as I said, to provide a new facility for them. This is the elevations for the larger of the 2 office buildings with a sort of distinctive shape. It is single story with sort of Velux roof lights, and materials are a brick plinth with a grey corrugated clad elevations and roof, which is considered to be appropriate given the commercial use and the existing established character of the site. So this is the second smaller office building, again similar style, and then the warehouse buildings, sort of conventional warehouse industrial sort of unit. And this is the larger of the 2. So some sort of road frontage views. The main road frontage from Lower Burnham Road is the one I sort of talked through earlier on. So they've got 2 access points into the development. That's the northern access here between the existing building and the proposed office building, which will replace the cottages. And then this is the view from the northern arm, effectively, of the Lower Burnham Road. So you've got the northern part of that office building, which wraps its way around the corner of the site, set behind trees. There are a number of trees on the site, and some of them which will be retained to provide that landscape buffer. So I've got some photographs here of the site as existing. That's the larger existing building that I pointed out at the start, which is going to be retained. And then some views within the site of the existing industrial buildings, as I mentioned, are pretty utilitarian, as to be expected on a site like this. And that's the older building that is obviously being retained. And then just on the corner, I think you see my mouse, is where the existing veterinary practice is. I hope you can hear me, so I've just realised I've drifted away from the screen.
No, we can hear you, thank you.
Good. And these are some photographs taken sort of looking away from the site. This is on the road, on the corner of Lower Burnham Road. It wraps its way around the site, so that's the planting I referred to earlier. That's one of the existing houses that is proposed to be demolished, and you can see how it's sort of set behind the existing hard standing for the commercial site. There's some views here looking outwards from the site, and then a number of photos taken on a very different day of those are the houses again, and you can see how they're very much sort of within the context of the existing commercial premises. So in summary, the site is a fully operational existing site, and the proposal is to expand on that and make a positive contribution to the local plan's employment objectives. And as I explained at the start, it is mostly allocated for employment development. The only 2 areas that are not being the sustainable drainage and the cottages, which, as I explained, are required to create the access for the development, the view to developing a second phase. And whilst the development involves the loss of 2 dwellings, they're of low architectural merit, and the council can demonstrate a 5-year housing land supply, and the economic benefits of the scheme, as explained, are considered to outweigh that harm. And demolishing the cottages allows for the access to be utilised ahead of the second phase, as I said. And the applicant has confirmed that it would not be possible to bring forward the second phase within the current plan period, so hence the proposal to develop half the site. Sufficient information has been provided to conclude that the development is acceptable in terms of highway safety, doesn't raise any other insurmountable issues which can't be addressed by condition, and therefore the application is accords with the NPPF and local plan policies and is recommended for conditional approval accordingly. I should just at the end point out that there is reference in the transport section of the report to the need for a legal agreement to secure the travel plan contribution. It was envisaged at the time the report was written that that would be signed and agreed, but there's been a delay, which would mean that if the committee resolved to approve the application as recommended, there might be a slight delay in issuing the decision whilst that is finalised by the county, between the county council and the applicant, so somewhat outside our control. But I've been chasing that today, so hopefully it shouldn't delay it by very long. So that's the recommendation. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Marsh. We have Mr. Hollington, the applicant, who's requested to speak publicly on the issue. Mr. Hollington, if you could make your way up to the horseshoe, please. And Councillor Stilts, thank you very much indeed.
Good, thank you.
And you'll see there's a clock that says 3 minutes, and you've actually got 2 minutes.
I shouldn't take that long, hopefully.
Okay, so once you start speaking, the clock will start going down. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, councillors, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I don't repeat too much of what Tim Marsh has said, but I have got a summary here. Great Hayes Business Park is a generic development of a former dairy farm. I'm a 5th generation farmer and have slowly diversified the family business at this site for the last 20 years. Farming is still the heart of the business. We run a commercial flock of sheep on traditional grazing marshes, and we also grow grapes on the south-facing slopes of the Crouch Valley. We have already established a sustainable rural commercial business site, and what you are being asked to consider today is an extension of it. The land at Great Hayes was zoned for employment by Maldon District Council as part of the local development plan in 2017, and this application is a result of that. The application does involve demolishing 2 agricultural workers' cottages, and as Tim Marsh explained earlier, they are of poor construction, circa 1955, in need of significant modernisation, and do not add to the character of the immediate area. We consider the economic benefits outweigh the harm considered by their removal. God, I haven't got my glasses, I'm sorry. And that led us to believe Maldon District Council has met the 5-year housing land supply. The cottages are no longer occupied by farm workers as the cow herd was sold in 2004. Anyway, we feel this development offers significant benefits to the district in that it begins to deliver a significant proportion of Maldon's employment requirement. It allows existing tenants on site to expand their businesses here rather than relocating outside the Maldon district. Our main tenant is Wenbar Plastics, some of you might know, a manufacturer of bespoke retail marketing equipment. They employ up to 200 people most of the year and significantly more when they get busy. The proposal, as was said earlier, is in accordance with the National Planning Policy Framework and the up-to-date development plan.
Mr. Hollington,
that's 2,
that's
is it?
it.
Sorry. Anyway, thank you for that.
No, you're very kind. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Councillor Stilts, as well.
Thank you.
So, members, we actually have a recommendation to approve subject to a legal agreement pursuant to Section 106 and the planning obligations and conditions as detailed in Section 8. Is that seconded? That is Councillor White. Seconded that, please. And Councillor White, your hand was up first for members to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would say that I do know the applicant because they are fellow farmers in the district. We may have a really tiny ward as the ward member, but actually we really pull our weight with employment. That gives a benefit to the district on business rates, which help fund an awful lot of the facilities we need for our residents. This is a site we get no complaints on, there's no problems with access, and I wholeheartedly agree with the recommendation, and I would propose that we accept the officer's recommendation. And do I have a seconder, please?
So that's already been seconded. Yeah, you seconded and then you spoke, so that's cool. Councillor Fluker.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Do you know, I often think when we come to these LDB sites, we should, you know, it was a long time ago when we considered this, and we should pay tribute to the likes of Councillor Cheshire and Councillor Channer, who came up with a basic strategy of where we should develop, and this was one of the sites. And of course, the late Councillor John Archer, because it was very much his idea that we had these type of sites, you know, away from the wrong end of the Dengie, so the traffic was out of the district. And I think it's a great tribute to their thinking where we are this evening. You know, Mr. Hollington spoke about diversification. I think anyone that's lived in the district for any length of time will remember when the milking herd was there, and they used to shut the road, I think, twice a day, stop the traffic. So that's one bit of diversification I agree with, Chairman. And the other point, and I know that Mr. Hollington's here, and I do know him, or I haven't seen him for years. And I just hope he bears this in mind, because he said he grows grapes, and his friend and farming cohort, Mr. Fisher, grows grapes, and these are some of the biggest vineyards that are being built throughout this district. And I just hope that Mr. Hollington, on this site, he might have the key to what we actually need, and that is a winery in the district, because my understanding is eventually most of the grapes will go out of the district, perhaps as far away as Kent, to be processed. And Chairman, I look forward to drinking Chateau Dengie one day. Thank you.
As does we all. Thank you, Councillor Fluker. Any other member wish to speak on this application? No? So the recommendation being forward has been seconded. Members, do we agree by assent? Agreed. Thank you very much indeed. The next item on the agenda is any items of business that the chairperson of the committee decides is urgent. I've got about 3 hours worth. So I do have one thing. This is my last, as we know, my last chairing of this committee, and I just want to say thank you very much indeed for everybody who's given me the support, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And when the next person comes in, with some great luck as well, and as much enjoyment as I've had. Well, I'm not going to stand for it anyway, Councillor Stamp. So no, one won't stand for it. So with that being the close, at exactly the quickest meeting I've ever done, at 7:47 jumbo jet time, I declare the meeting closed. Well done.